Hi friends! From the looks of it, yes, we are combining NATASHA DENONA's Circo Loco and her most recently released pastel palette. No, this is not making you buy either palette. I love to do mashup videos, provide inspiration for makeup that you have in the collection where you have not used in a while and maybe you have a bunch of pastels already, and we're gonna get into the mix. Springtime is upon us, and why not? Let's mix up the pastels and the vibrant colors that we have and make some beautiful looks, shall we? I do have separate videos covering Circo Loco and a pastel palette. I will link those videos down below. If you just happen to fall upon this one, well, thank you so much for clicking. I love to revisit palettes that I purchased, specifically more expensive ones, using them to their potential, and again, providing you some inspiration if you feel like you're in an eyeshadow rut. With all that out the way, why don't you come in a little closer? That's enough. For a quick overview, I had said originally in the pastel palette video, I felt this was like a pastel version of Circo Loco, right? And you kind of have to decide what you gravitate towards more. This is going to give you a lot more color, is more vibrant, but in that respect, people who find this intimidating when they saw the pastel palette, they were like, you know, I could get into this. This is something that's more my vibe. But what if we had both? Or again, you had colors in your collection that resemble the ones found in these palettes and wanted to mash them together. When introducing Circo Loco into the mix, I think now the pastel palette being the accent one, right? Because these are lighter shades, they can be used for inner corner highlight or that splash of pastel on the center of your lid. So let's start off with, I mean, we can do so many things. I think I want to start with Act. This is like a navy type of a blue color. It's metallic. I'm using my finger as I feel that has the best product pickup. Or if you have a sponge tip applicator, which I need to get, I definitely will love to have one on standby, as I feel very useful when dealing with these types of textures. Then I want to take Magic, which is a powdery, I don't want to say powdery blue, it's definitely deeper than Bubble, the shade I would like to add in to this eye look, eventually, as like an inner corner accent shade. If you just had Circo Loco, you could go in with Fun to Mime as the inner corner highlight. But I thought maybe we can go in with Bubble, the cornflower blue found in the pastel palette. I think a nice contrast to what's going on the lid and outer V, and sticking with a cooler theme, right? Fun to Mime is, I think, more teal leaning, so it will probably bring out any warmth from Act, but the fact that we can stick to this cooler tone all around, I think it quite beautiful. You can keep Magic as is, or we can use a little bit of Airy to blend out the edges of Magic. And Airy is not a strong performing pastel when blended. I think this is going to serve as more of a gradient shade if you would like to use it as such. Although I see it well on the edges of Magic, but what I'm doing now is introducing more of that shade so it can present a stronger gradient, as well as bringing in more Act and overlapping that shade over the Magic one. Yeah, so we could have a little bit of a more pronounced gradient there. And I'm going back with my blender brush to ensure that the edges look smooth, they look blurred. I'm doing a little more Magic here with the tip of my blender to influence the shade to kind of mix in with what the Magic shade has. And I'm just going back and forth between those two. I'm taking it quite high, actually. I'm Whoa. And as always, if things get out of hand, just make sure you erase it away. We could keep it this blue story, or we can go in with Acrobat. This is more turquoise leaning, so again, you can go monochromatic in pairing the shades that are similar in undertone and hue together on one eye. If you wanted to use more than one shade, I think it's fun to include another type of blue, not quite the same, so just to kind of mix up the overall presentation here. Ooh, that was a lot. I underestimated that shade. And now we could go in with the Adriatic or Mint Frost. I think either will do very well. I'm going in with Adriatic because I think it lovely with Acrobat since it has a similar undertone here. And I already put bubble on the inner part of the lid here, but maybe another color entirely. So we could go in either from Circo Aerialist or Snow Cone, or even Mint Frost from the pastel palette. I think I want to go Snow Cone. This is more of an icy blue, but I think it will pair well with the shades that we have already on here. I'm doing a little cleanup because I got a little out of hand with Acrobat. Definitely might have wanted to use a smaller brush because if you want the color to appear tighter, closer to your lower lash line, then a smaller brush would deliver those results. I'm taking some concealer, and this is my Alicia Eldridge foundation brush, placing a little bit here to carve out the lash line. I'm just taking away a little bit more. You don't have to do this. Again, depending on how you want your shadow to appear will determine what brush you use. And I'm placing more bubble here over Act to create more of a gradient. Oh, that's pretty. All right, second eye. What do we have? Well, we went super blue. I would argue this could be overall very monochromatic. I think I want to start off the look with Joker, the medium pink here. I'm going to throw that through the crease, feathering the edges with Feather. That's a nice combination because Feather is more like a lilac pink, whereas Cotton Candy found in Circo is like more bubblegum pink. So that's like a nice transition from the more medium pink into the lilac one. Now taking Razzle Dazzle with my finger, of course. I'm gonna slap it on there. Now for the inner corner, we can use Dainty, Duet, even Illusion, which is going to have, I think, a stronger pink flip since you're layering over or close to this magenta shade. You know what? I'm feeling like putting on Dainty. This is such a great flippy type of a shade as the D-Chrome. But next to Razzle Dazzle, that's quite nice. Especially since we have Feather on the edges of Joker. I feel the pink base found in Dainty speaks to what's happening on the edges of the gradient there. And maybe a little bit of Tulle just on the very edges of Dainty. Because it's a light pink, but I think nice to have it on the inner part of the eye. And now I feel Illusion will look lovely here on the inner corner. Just brings everything together. Lower lash line we can keep fairly simple. Just go in with Joker again, or we can just go in with Bora here on the majority of the lash line. I'm swirling and twirling as I want to pick up enough shadow. This is the cream to powder formula. So maybe not the best approach using a pencil brush, but I want to keep it tight to the lash line. I guess I'm a little traumatized with what happened to Acrobat. Since it's not as potent as Acrobat, I can use a fluffier shader brush because I don't mind this shade traveling lower because it's much lighter than what's happening here. And Limoncello on the inner lower lash line. That's fun. Or we could have went in with Zest. Zest would have been a fun addition to that. All right. think that's it. I'm gonna slap on some lashes and I'll be right back. Here are the final looks from round one. We definitely went monochromatic. I think for the next session, I want to block more different colors together from each palette and see what we come up with. Truly challenging Natasha's color creation genius. In fact, we just do a hodgepodge of things. How will it turn out with random selection? So with that said, take off these lashes and I'll be right back. Round two, what it do? Fun to mime. We're just gonna do fun to mime. You know what? I think, well, I already started to apply this on the inner corner, so there it shall stay. I was dying to pair fun to mime with zest because these together, it's very pretty. The light aqua blue with the lime I felt was like a must do. Now at the outer corner, I feel like maybe we can bracket everything with Acrobat. I think from Circo Loco, it has a little bit, it's a little darker, you know, we can place it there, see what happens. And the fact that Zest, I think, matches well with Acrobat, being that Acrobat is a teal, you know, that's a nice transition. Tapping that right on the outer V. I'm keeping it pretty tight. I know it looks like it floated higher than I would want it, but it's okay. It's okay. We can use another shade to blend the edges. You know what? Maybe we can go in with Brisk, see what that does. I'm just pulling that across everything so that perhaps we can start melting these shades together. I'm bringing in more zest. Usually what happens with the shade on the center, it could get lost with all the blending, you know what I mean? Back in with some Acrobat. I want to create a more saturated dose here on the outer V. Do a little cleanup here. Okay. And a little more Brisk just to kind of pull this out. I don't mind bringing pastels close to my brow bone because since they are already light, it kind of serves as the highlight shade, right? And if I wanted, I can place a concentrated dose here closer to the brow bone and just tap around that transition. Okay, taking Zest on the center of the lower lash line. I think I want to spotlight this portion of my eye, or we can do Mint Frost. You know what? I think it a good idea to place Zest there first, just to pick up a little bit of that lime color. Now on the outer and inner regions of my lower lash line, I'm going into Circo Loco and placing Flip, this shade here, on the outer part of my eye, because Flip has a deeper turquoise hue to it compared to Adriatic that's found in the pastel palette. Adriatic has more of a aqua feel to it. There's more green in there, so that's nice to kind of juxtapose them with Mint being on the center. So to make that contrast, have it more amplified. If you wanted, you can keep the inner corner as is and rely on Fun to Mime for its highlighted effect, or you could go in with Illusion, you could go in even with Mint Frost again, or you could go in with, what is this one? Aerialist. This is silver, and since we already have a color on the inner part of the eye, placing silver there I think will add nice brightness and shine, but it's going to carry in that teal shade from Fun to Mime, not have it look all silver, but more of like a shiny aqua. Well, on this side, we didn't really deal with a lot of like the oranges found in Circo. So you know what? I think I want to start with Starlit. I'm placing that on the outer part of my eye because I think this with Spiral, the orange shimmer in here, will look very nice. It's not as shiny as Starlit. Spiral, I think, is the weakest metallic in Circo. It's not as bright. is a little more muted in terms of the finish. We can go in with Canon or Grin. Grin is more of an antique gold. Canon is more of like a penny copper. On the inner part of the eye, it doesn't have that same highlight effect. So I am going in with Limoncello, overlapping that shade to kind of bring out the brightness a little bit. Now with Bellini, the Peachy Matte, on the inner part of the lid, because I want to use Firework, the matte from Circo, as the prominent crease shade to blend everything out with. Going back and forth between Bellini and Firework, because I think having the peach and the orange together will transform this gradient to be more of like a creamsicle one. And then going back in with Starlit to make sure that whatever got blended away, we put it back on there. Joker, the pink matte on the lower lash line here. And I know I have like leftover, what did I put on this eye? I forgot. I have like leftover blue on that eye. How did that happen? Tulle as the inner corner or lower inner lash line pop. I think when paired with Joker, that has a nice flow from a lighter pink into a medium one. I'm using the pencil brush to kind of knock away whatever was on my lashes from the last look. I'm placing more Starlit here on the outer part of my eye. And I also want to pull in more Firework just to kind of have it travel up and out, because since it's a pretty color, I think it can definitely flow into that direction. I'm taking Starlit, giving it a spritz, and then tapping that on the outer part. So that's definitely going to bump up the shine, and I would probably do the same with Spiral. And then just swirling the edges here so they don't look as abrupt, so they could flow nicely into what's happening with that matte shade. And then a little bit of Joker. Okay, let's apply some lashes and I'll be right back. And here are the looks from round 2. I felt like I still went monochromatic again, but I just can't help but pair shades that are very similar. They're not completely the same. For instance, I wanted to see the lime paired with the aqua and just everything within that realm of turquoise. And with this eye, matching up Starlit, which has like a coral base with really beautiful gold flecks in there, with the orange shades found in Circo Loco. Like, I'm sorry. I will not be doing another round because I started filming late. The light is changing on me a touch, so I will wrap it up here. If you want me to come on here again and have another Circo Loco party, I'm more than happy to do so. I would like, however, to pair pastel palette with maybe Trio Chrome next, so let me know if you want to see that mashup down below. And I hope this video offered you, again, inspiration to just dive back into your palette, to your pastel shades, to get into the spring season of things. Maybe try out looks that showcase these colors you were intimidated by the possibility of, I don't know, expecting the eye looks not to turn out well, or you felt like pastels don't look good on you. Maybe experiment a little, see what happens. It doesn't have to be all pastel. Perhaps include other shades, whether they be lighter or darker, depending on what you want to create, to help amplify the pastels in a way that will suit your eye look, your eye shape, and your vibe. I will see you down in the comments, fam, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, NATASHA DENONA Extravaganza, monthly favorite, or get ready with me. Take care, and I will see you again soon.